What's the worst movie you've ever watched besides your wedding video?
No, that's easy. Can I go in?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So, worst movie I've ever watched is called Epic Movie. It was one of those movies,
One of those spoof ones.
one of those spoof movies from the early 2000s,
And not done by the Wayans at all.
No.
It's just some knockoff of a knockoff.
But it was when all those like I
Was
know
it a
what you
superhero
did
movie?
last summer because it was a Saturday night type of movies. And they did the superhero movie. They did the epic movie. They did not another teen movie. That
one was okay.
Those were okay. But the epic movie was kind of making fun of Pirates of the Caribbean and Lord of the Rings and just like all of those big epics.
Yeah.
I walked out.
Oh, you actually went and paid to see?
I did. I went to the theater. I went to the
Okay.
theater because look, genre-wise, right up my alley. Like I'm going, oh, this will be fun. I'll be able to make fun, have fun making fun of all these things.
After Scary Movie 2, I couldn't do it.
Right. Scary Movie was, and those were fun, right?
They were.
But this movie, not funny at all. And just, I don't remember anything redeeming about it to the point where I never walk out of movies. I have a very high tolerance for dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And
it's this podcast.
But no, it was terrible.
Well, that one you've definitely had on deck for a long time. What about you, Joe?
Oh man, it's a toss-up for me, to be honest. It's either got to be M. Night Shyamalan's Last Airbender.
Okay, all right.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. All right.
Or
it could have been one of a half dozen movies, by the way.
Shut your old pothole.
Or the Eragon movie. And
really?
I never read the book, so I can't say.
the Eragon movie, if you've never read the book, it's a bland
It was okay. It was
fantasy
no Dragonheart, but it was okay.
It's a bland fantasy that's very cliche and it's probably fine and very forgettable. Very. Yeah. But if you've read the book, you will fully understand why I put this in there because it was really, really bad. Like there's criticisms for the book in and of itself, but it was also a book that was written by a 15-year-old. So, it is what it is. For a book written by a 15-year-old, it's pretty fantastic. Yeah. And so the movie was just atrocious. Everybody was human in that, even though there were supposed to be these Urgles, which are kind of like orcs with ram horns, kind of, but they were just like barbarian men. There was supposed to be the main love interest is an elf. No, she's just a slender, attractive human. Everybody's human. No, not even pointy ears. And one of the big things that people got super upset about is they made her blonde when it very clearly states she has raven hair in the book. But that's very minor compared to all the other screw ups that they did. For some reason,
Ghost in a Shell for changing things.
But yeah, no, it was bad. But yeah, the sad part is I think the casting was actually really good for it. It was just the execution that was horrible.
I remember watching it and not thinking much of it. I didn't think it was terrible, but it was like, okay.
Yeah, and that's how my wife reacted to it as well. And then after we got married and I brought it up, I'm like, you should read the book. And she read it and she was like, oh, now I see why you trash on this movie. It is among my top 5 worst book to movie adaptations of all time.
Wow.
All right, so we need an
that's
after
a good
show.
list.
Yeah, we need that for the Patriot After Show. What's the other 4, sir? I want to hear that list of top 5 worst book to movie adaptations. Left Behind being no, I've never seen that movie. It's horrible.
That we should talk about that after this show.
Oh my god! So I will say
after
it
this
is.
show.
Yeah, no kidding, Kurt. It is a very rare occasion where a Christian or a religious film at all turns out to be any good. I mean, and that means just mediocre at best, right? And after show, it's not what we're called to talk about. My no, 110%. I've got a few that I don't like.
Please don't say the one I think you're gonna say.
There's no way you're gonna guess it. There's no way. Actually, let's take it. What do you think I'm gonna say, Kurt?
Battlefield Earth.
No. Joe, what do you take a guess? What do you think I'm gonna say?
Die Hard, the Christmas special.
Oh,
I mean, that's not real.
You cannot. All the Die Hards are great. I want to hear it.
Even the third one?
Yes, the third one is really good. Samuel L. Jackson, are you kidding me? Come on.
Or maybe it's the fourth one that I'm thinking of. Live Free or Die Hard, the one with the hackers. I still like
that one too. It was fun.
The PG-13 one.
Yeah. Fire sale. Anyway, no. And I like trash, right? I like the Transformer movies. I love the Transformers. I love 3,000 Miles of Graceland. Love it. Not a good movie at all, but I enjoy dumb movies.
Sure.
So when I tell you the worst movie ever is by far the worst movie ever, you could know that I've tested out a lot of bad movies to get to this conclusion. Frankenweenie, the worst movie of all time, not once, but twice. So the original came out in early 90s, maybe late 80s, and we were poor, right? What? You got something?
Isn't Frankenweenie like Tim Burton's college film?
Second, okay, I think he might have made it. Yeah, I think he might have.
He made an old one in black and white.
Yes, and then he did a claymation animation one. Still bad. Okay. And yeah, so we would once a month, maybe twice a month, we'd be able to go to the video store. And as a family, my mom wouldn't go; she didn't care. So it was my sister, myself, and my dad, and we pick out one, and we take turns picking out a film. My dad's like, "Man, I really want to see this." So we burned our $2.50 on a movie rental, which is like $20 nowadays in this economy, to get. And we kept the worst. And it was just, even as a kid, I just liked everything. I was like, what is this trash? It was so bad. And then Tim Burton had the balls to do it a second time, and it was just as bad. I don't even understand what he was trying to do with this story. It is just, I like Tim Burton. I like a lot of his stuff. He did some of the best Batman work, I think. I like his style of stuff. Edward Scissorhands.
I mean, that classic.
If it's not, it should be on the AFI 100.
Yeah,
by all means. If it's not, But
so,
dude,
Frankenweenie, the 1984 one.
That's okay. Yeah. So older than I thought it was.
Gets a 74% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Are you kidding me? What kind of high morons are watching that film?
That's okay. The 2012 remake, which I think is the claymation thing that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Tomato meter
by Tim Burton, right?
I think technically they both were, but
yeah. I think he did both of them. Yeah.
But the claymation one, 87% tomato meter and 70% audience score.
This is why you cannot. Well, critics, if they rated it high, it's crap. It's crap because critics always rate the greatest movies low. So, I mean, it's all a matter of taste. At some point, Tim Burton didn't have any, but that's okay. He makes up for it with James and the Giant Peach and other things. So
sure.
Joe's Googling the crap out of Phil right now. Go watch it, man. It's just the dog dies. The family doesn't want to be without their family pet, and it's a little wiener dog. That's why it's called Frankenweenie.
So it's Pet Cemetery Light.
Kind of.
So,
not even.
So just to give you a little bit of a comparison, Charles, Last Airbender, which was Joe's,
right,
5% tomato meter and 30% popcorn meter, which is the audience score thing now.
Yep.
objectively worse. and just to
really?
be fair,
because neither one of you have seen Frankenweenie.
I think I saw the original years and years ago. Epic movie. Oh, epic movie. Tomato meter 2%. And popcorn, the audience score 29%. I win.
All right, objectively you win, Kurt.
Objectively, I win.
You win. It's become a contest. I will say
it's always a contest if there's a thing to compete against.
I'll say old Ben Holiday is making me happy. It's a good bourbon. It's a good bourbon. By the way, I'll go ahead and I'll tell you kind of ahead of time what my nerding out about next weekend.
It's so quotable though, Kelsey. Okay. It's so quotable.
I refuse to watch that one. Turtle. Not watching
I'm going to be a master of disguise. I'm going to be a master of disguise.
I give Dave Garvey so much leeway because he's just fun to watch.
He is that. I'll be honest. I did not watch that movie because the trailer just made it go.
The turtle guy.
It's one of those movies that you have to watch when you're either super tired or otherwise mentally, cognitively impaired.
I'm not following, Joe. What do you mean?
Yeah. and how would you know?
Because I watched it tired.
He's been super tired.